What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining Beyond the Pew. We are so excited for what is going to take place today in today's conversation. I have one of my new sisters in Christ, which
Yes.
I'm overly excited to let her introduce herself. As you can see, Bishop Quinn is out of the office for today, but no worries because he was here last week and I was absent. But listen, y'all know what to do. Share this, like this, and love this. This is Beyond the Pew on Saturdays at 3 p.m. with real life, real faith, and real conversation. So, Miss Natalie, can you introduce yourself? And just for the people
Yes.
who don't know who you are, please let them know.
Of course, I'm the Natalie Rochelle on all social media platforms. And ultimately, my brand is about lifestyle, also faith, and just in general, my successes and my testimonies. And some of them, when I first started, was really built off entrepreneurship. But now, as I am really building in my faith journey, a lot of what I focus on now is just womanhood, faith, and that relationship with God. So, if you follow any of my brands, also my own podcast, the Dear God podcast, that is really pretty much who I am. But on the other flip side, I'm
Okay.
also a marketing guru.
Octopus.
Okay.
Okay, woman with many
Yes,
arms.
an AI architect, and I also am an adjunct professor at National Louis University, teaching undergrad business, advertising, social media, and digital marketing. So that is who I am in a nutshell.
In a nutshell. So listen, y'all go ahead and do what we like you to do. That's share it, like it, love it, comment. Let us know you are in the building. Give it,
Yes.
as Bishop, you say, Lottie Dottie and everybody. This is a conversation that is really important to me as a millennial. We have this conversation about who millennials are, and after us are the Gen Zs and QRPWs, whoever come after us. But there is a lot as it talks about just believing in faith and how we do church and what we do as church believers. And here on Beyond the Pew, it's really important for us to have that conversation about what do we do on Monday. Like Sunday is good. We shout, we have a great time. We will church, okay? If your church is good, we will church with you all day. But the real question is, when Sunday is over, what does Monday look like? So the question of the hour is, as believers, so I hope some of my pastors can chime in, some of my leaders can chime in, but as believers, what does it look like for us to keep the church? And when I say the church, that's those of us who have already accepted Christ as our Savior, who are already active in church, who knows who God is, and we're going to church. We belong somewhere.
Have a church
whether
home.
we go once or twice a week, a month, whatever, we go somewhere. We are the churched. How do we maintain the churched, but bring in the unchurched is the conversations that we're talking about today. So I think the first topic or the first question to ask is, in your opinion, define churched versus unchurched.
That's a good question. And it kind of goes on what you even talked about as well, as far as those who have a church home. That how I am interpreting it is those who have a church home, who understand having a faith-based community support and family within their church. So that's how I would consider someone who is churched. And I would define someone who isn't, obviously the opposite of that, right? Where they possibly, even because I still consider someone who given their life to Christ, someone who can be unchurched, right? They might not have a church home. They're searching, they're looking for one. And those are the individuals who possibly believe, believe the gospel, believe Jesus Christ, but they're not following, or they need a place to go to learn, to educate themselves as well. So that's in my opinion how I interpret it. I interpreted it. So,
and I think for me, a big thing is the church. Those who were before us, they were used to be in the church all day. Right?
Yeah.
And
it was no option.
No, zero.
Right.
And now I hear parents ask kids, "You going to church today? Like, are you feeling okay to go to church today?" Now, I didn't come from a churched family.
Okay.
So it
Me
looked
either.
different for me.
Yeah.
I chose to go to church.
Yeah.
I was sent to church by my mom and my family. Now they come with me, but I was the one who initiated that. But I saw my friends growing up who didn't have that option. You know, it was like churches on Sundays. Actually, just to kind of go back, how I started going to church. I stayed in like a complex, and we would all go outside and play.
Okay.
And I was always a smart kid, so I noticed on Sundays where the kids at.
Yeah, yeah.
Was nobody to play with, and I'm like, where are the kids at? So I wouldn't go outside till about 1:30, 2 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, that was that middle break between their second service
Okay.
when they would come home, or sometimes I wouldn't see them at all Sundays because they had multiple services.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So finally, I asked one of my friends, like, "Yo, what are y'all doing?
Where y'all at?
Where y'all at?" Like literally, and she was like,
Not you was the unchurched.
"I was the unchurched." No, literally.
Yeah.
I was absolutely unchurched. And when she told me that she was at church, I'm like, well, if everybody at church and I'm at home, Mom, I want to go to church.
Yeah.
And that's why the kids were. So that's how I became the church. But when I was younger, we were interested in the little things that my church had. We had dancing teams. We had just vacation Bible school. We were going to the zoo together. We were doing all of these activities. So I wanted to be in church.
Yeah.
My mom probably going to give me for telling y'all this, but I remember when I used to get in trouble, I used to get church taken. Because I wanted to be there so bad. So when I would clown, she'd be like, and you ain't going to church tomorrow. I can't go to church. So that was my experience coming from unchurched to church. And now being a youth director over my district and just working heavily with the youth in my church, sometimes I struggle because it looks different for them. It looks completely different for them. So my next question, now that, we kind of decided like what church and unchurched looks like, how do we gain their interest, bring them in, and still stay Bible based?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say, I think even as, even seeing the comments, Latrice saying good topic, I think we also, if we talk about this, right, I think we also have to talk about the I wouldn't say the disconnect, but just the difference between the two's mentality.
Okay.
So if I was raised in the church, right, it was no option given to me. This is all that they know, and it's familiar, and it's nostalgic for them to go every Sunday, right? Compared to, like you said, that individual who had to learn and figure it out, had to search, had to understand, this is where this is. And I think after knowing that is also knowing that, and even if I mentioned in my post making about this and sharing this, is that church isn't the only place where we can find God. Church isn't the only place where I'm talking about a physical space, right? Right. And if we talk about, so let's bring it biblically in Matthew, we are the church, right? Where there are more than two gathered, God is there with us. So I think not so much as condemning those or thinking and looking at it from a different perspective of like, why they ain't going, them kids ain't going to. I think we also have to understand that we're living differently, right? And we're also in different generations based on that. So my grandmother and my mother, my grandmama's a baby boomer from Alabama. Okay. My mother is a Generation X. So this church was no option, let alone my grandma in Alabama, in the far deep south of Birmingham, Alabama. Church was very cultural for them, right? Now. Edgewater, okay? That's where she from. So church was, as you mentioned, it was part of the day. It was no excuse. This was where communion began. This was where friendships began. You find a husband. It was a whole cultural thing. And so as we move into us as millennials who are now the parents, I'm not so much to say we have options. We are the generation who see the perspective different from tradition. We are non-traditional, right? So we have, as it is now, people are watching right now, virtual gospel of us speaking about the word, right? This was not something that's normal to my grandmother. So I think we also, as it is, have to show grace to individuals who choose not to go that route, right? Because it's not, God ain't checking for your church attendance. Okay. He's, in my opinion, he's checking for your intimacy and your loyalty and your commitment to him, right? So me going into church every single Sunday right, does not equate to my salvation, right? How many souls am I bringing to him? That might not require me every single day to be there, right? Now, obviously, yes, I want to refuel myself. I want to be at church. I want to be a part of ministries. I want to do the work. But what if my work is going out and doing street ministry, right? Street evangelism, right? So I think we have to look at it differently from the perspective of how our world is now. There's so many confused and lost individuals, and they not coming through that door. They're not. And
I think that's the biggest thing for us when we kind of reframed and we started Beyond the Pew, right?
Yeah.
Beyond the Pew was really about figuring out, what are we doing Monday? Not negating the assembling, because I know that's the scripture everybody likes to go to assemble, right? Not negating that, because as a preacher, as a heavy activist in the church, it's important for me to connect, right? Community is big for me. And I look at church as the community.
Right.
But my thing, which I teach people all the time, and I kind of, that's where I hang my hook on, is they're not just going to run into the church and say, hey, save me.
Right.
Somebody's going to have to go outside of the four walls, showing this.
Exactly.
And then they're going to come want to follow us.
And I love that you say that. And like you said, reiterating Beyond the Pew, right? Like I said, some people ain't walk past them church doors, honey, their whole life, honey. It is their life. And that's okay.
Yeah, and don't intend
right? That's okay. But I love that my testimony starts while I was a hood booger in Inglewood, okay? And so I'm able to communicate. I'm able to touch, as you mentioned, one of your younger students. I've been there. I've been that young girl with a chip on her shoulder, grouchy as 2 boxes of rocks, honey. and I've been there. Right. And so that person's not, I wasn't coming to no church to get saved
at all.
I was going to the party to have a good time. That wasn't where I was at. So I think we have to get beyond the fear of not wanting to meet people where they at.
Yeah.
Right. So if God is going to save that one from that 99, he going through the trenches
to get
you.
Time.
And the crazy part is, and what I love so much about that is, he got GPS. He know exactly where to find you. You the one lost. You're the one lost.
I like that.
Right.
I like
so
that.
he know where to find you. He know where you're gonna be at. He know what you're dealing with, and we have to think in that same regard when we walk out, because he's not saving the ones that's in the pew, right? Because they already loyal. They already there. What about that one? And you know that one.
Yeah.
Everybody on the live, you know that one. You know that one. He ain't coming up in there. Okay, he might listen to what I'm talking about, or she might listen to what I'm talking about. She ain't coming up here, and I know she ain't.
Yeah,
she ain't got church hurt. She ain't got. She in the world. She in the world, and everything. I'm me even inviting you and showing you what God has done in my life does nothing for you, right? But all I can do, let's say on a Monday, all I can do is continue to show you what God has done, and I don't have to put that in your face, right? I don't have to beg you to come to church. I don't have to do none of that. You should be able to see my fruit and be like, oh God, she was always this, she was always that, da, da, da. And it can possibly convict you, right? When I did a spiritual fast last year, June 17th will be my 1 year anniversary. No drinking, no smoking. I wasn't partying, I wasn't doing nothing.
Okay.
Now I told you I was a hood booker from Inglewood now.
Okay.
So when I shifted, my friends, couple of them, skedaddle. Yeah. Okay. The other few stuck around. And guess what? I get none of my friends drink like no more. None of my friends smoke like that no more. Okay. And we gotta make, if we go out, we gotta have intention, right? We're not going out in lust. We're not going out halfly dressed. We're going out and representing ourselves as women. And so when I made that shift, it convicted them. I didn't ask them at all to come to my church. I didn't ask them at all to be more loyal and build a relationship with God. That was about me. Right. And so what I showed, that light that I had, that God, the Holy Spirit ignited me to make that shift and make that change. And when I built my relationship, that seriousness impacted them so much, and they seen me transform so much that it made them either respect and honor that there is a God or find out for themselves.
And I love that, because what I try to get people to understand, or not even that, what I try to walk in is the most God that most will see is the God you present. So again, they're not running in the church. So it's me in a grocery store. It's me in the mall. It's me, out to eat with my friends. And then it's me being able to exemplify God through what
Yeah.
I do every
Yeah.
day. And then the question comes,
Yeah.
why you do that? How you
Okay.
do that? Where you do
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
And I use, for an example, I'm on social media because of what I do.
Right. Absolutely.
I'm not a real social media girl. Where
She's
you
not
can
me.
tell me. Or you can tell where I've been, how I've been, and where I got there.
Yeah.
Now I've made myself more visual, I should say, because of what I do and who I am. I can't say, hey, come do X, Y, and Z, and you like, okay, because now in the year 2026, I've had job interviews ask me, are you on socials? And I'm like,
not in that capacity.
Really,
yeah.
but because they're looking you up, they trying to search you. I've had people who invited me to come speak at conferences, who's invited me to come preach. Like, are you on social? And I'm like, not really. So when I went through my situations of just losing my job and going through all the situation, God was like, you continue to keep suffering in silence. How am I going to ever get the glory? And I was like, well, I ain't really trying to be flaunting my stuff out here, right? And as I'm flaunting my stuff, what's going on, Bishop Q? Good to see you on today. You're in the wrong spot, but it's all right. We're glad you tuned in. So as I'm doing all of that, I'm just like, hey, they're like, what are you doing? And he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm living my life. I'm doing what you told me to do. You told me don't hark on it, to keep going. He was like, but you're not saying anything. You're not showing anybody. You just in the background, get beat down, picking yourself back up and moving on. And he like, that's not what I need you to do. The people need to see it, because it's then when they see, oh, you might have been broke, busted, this what you call it,
broke, busted, can't been trusted,
a hood booger, but now you know, like, it's something different about you.
Absolutely.
The way you carry yourself. I've been watching you, so now he came and she spoke to my girls. Y'all know we having a pageant. It's coming up.
Yes, be there next Saturday. Thank you.
We've been talking, and she came and talked to my girls about etiquettes and just how to carry themselves, how to talk, how to walk with confidence, boldly. So after connecting with her, I'm scrolling through the page and I'm like, I love this about her because it all equals out. It balances. But what I love about it is I still see you have fun.
Oh yeah.
I still see you enjoy life. And a lot of people think that joining the church and giving your life to God equals you no longer have a life. There is no more fun for you. And this generation that we're raising, they're not trying to hear that.
Yeah, because I think they haven't experienced true freedom. Right now, I won't say that you won't. Your salvation does come with a price. You were paid for. Okay, we were paid for in blood. As the young kids say, okay. Well, that's biblical. So it's. I'm like I said, I'm not gonna say I didn't struggle. I'm not gonna say that I didn't, but the freedom of knowing that I'm following and walking in his steps, right? Even if I stumble one time, God gives me another day. I'm grateful for that. And so I think that's part of where people think that it's so structured, and it's really freeing. I think the most freeing, I got baptized October of last year. I think the most, I cried so much, not even just from me experiencing the baptism. It was more like I finally understood being reborn again. So you mean to tell me that everything that I had, the anxiety that I had, the depression that I had, I mean, I was bad. I done some bad things to some people, right? That is forgiven and I can refresh and start anew. That doesn't mean that I don't have to go back and say, I apologize for what I did to you, right? Because I don't feel like what I did was right at that time. Forgive me, right? And that alone allowed me to live so less stressfully. Right? Not to say I got to make excuses on God, no my heart. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm more so saying is that I now fully understand in totality why this was done, how this sets me free. And I know personally what that did for me mentally. I ain't been on my meds, my psych meds since. Okay. Even before that. Before that, nothing could help me. Nothing could help me but this. And so I think living in that and accepting that, like some people gotta, as they say, you gotta hit rock bottom. And you realize, whoa.
And here is my thing, and I hope this is helping somebody out there. Make sure that you guys are sharing this. This is a real conversation. It's gonna take a little shift real quick into mental health because y'all know I'm diehard mental health. I believe personally, if you hit rock bottom as my sister, I shouldn't have to. You've been there. I want to experience from where you are. Like you're basically like, hey, JS, there's a hole. And if you keep going that way, you're going to hit that hole. And I'm like, got it.
Well, I get what you're saying, but I also will say people meet and experience God.
They do.
At their rock bottoms, right?
Do.
Like you got Job.
They do.
Now, he ain't even know he was over there being tried and true, right? But to them, he hit his rock bottom. Wife done left him, kids gone, friends like, hey, I know you did something wrong, right? So he's just so not understanding, but received all of that back because of that loyalty, because of not defaming God and what he know and that faith that he had, right? But the other aspect, as you mentioned too, as well, where Paul was speaking to the churches, and he mentioned as far as it was that one man that was doing his dirt up in the church, okay, and it's also very, very controversial. But they say pray him to his sins, pray him to his sins, so that God will finally show him and really transform him and change him, that this is where you need to be. Bring him home and grab him home. So I think it's two different ones. It's two different ones, right? Where I so like I said, somebody gonna have to get knocked upside his head to realize you let it go.
And I think it's a place for everybody too. So like your rock bottom don't look like my rock bottom.
Exactly.
But I do think what we have lost, because here's what I believe. Let me backtrack a little bit. I am not 100% overly traditional, right? I like a little bit of it, but I also like a little bit of times are changing. Because, hey, Mom, you know it, you right place. You're a little late. You'll get in trouble later. But right place, right time. So join in the conversation. So I believe that we need a little bit of the old mixed in with a little bit of the new, preparing for a little bit of the future.
Absolutely.
Right?
Change that. Yeah.
So I like all of it. But one of the things that I try to really appreciate is we've lost testimony. And the difference.
Maybe not that. Maybe an authentic testimony.
Maybe
that's the
so
one.
We've lost some authenticity, right? Because I believe that the church wholeheartedly is a community. Right?
Yeah, right.
So if my sister is going through or is at rock bottom, unlike Job friends, I'm not sitting there taunting you. Right, like you had accusing. To do something.
Absolutely,
you got to be this. I'm more so like, all right, sis, where are you? How can I show up? What do you need? Do you need me to step back? You don't want to tell me? Great, I'll go in my own prayer closet until you get out. And when you get ready, I'm gonna be sitting right here, kind of like the men who lowered the man in the temple. They're like, oh no, you need to be healed. We're gonna get you to where you need to be.
Absolutely.
But some of the problem that I see is we're so secretive. And I think there's a difference between secrecy and privacy, right? Sometimes we go through and you have to go through privately.
Yeah.
And then once you're healed and once you've delivered, you're able to come out a little bit more, right? But we have become, and I say we, because sometimes I can see myself doing it and God pushes me, have become so secret in some of our struggles, because a lot of us know some of the things we struggle with we shouldn't be doing or shouldn't be struggling. And we lose our testimony. I remember sitting in services back in the day, like, if this lady shout one more time, you know what I'm saying, about how her dog is doing better and her daughter. But some people who have, like you said, those authentic ones, as I talk to people in clinically and I talk to them, I'm just like, oh my God, if somebody heard your story.
Yes.
I would want to know how, who, what, when, and why. And that's why my prayer has always been, God, overdo it for me so that people can come and ask me who. And that's my opportunity to evangelize. Because I don't do it in the four walls of the church. I do it outside the church. But if they feel like, oh, you the church girl and you just broke, busted, and discussed it all the time. I don't want your God. What do I want him for? And I just think some of the tradition has to come back of where we're having those conversations and those moments where, I mean, you encourage me and encourage somebody else. You said you haven't taken some meds. You put in some work. I'm pretty sure some tears.
Absolutely.
Some Bible reading.
Absolutely.
Some of everything, which means it's possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, for those who know me, my platform actually really, truly grew because number one, I had a blog that was titled From Depressed to Blessed.
Okay.
And I talk about how my diagnosis of depression, and I went through a suicide attempt and diagnosed with bipolar type 1, how that led me to becoming the most, in my opinion, successful at that time marketer in Chicago.
Okay.
And so I posted it on all my platforms, and I also started doing a lot of speaking engagements related to that. And I met a plethora of people who was like, oh my God, like I've been trying to figure out what's going on and this and then the third. And this is obviously pre-Jesus, right? So I'm not sharing his name out.
Right.
And I'm more so sharing, you need to get checked out, you need to get the therapy, you need to get this, you need to get fat, but also taking in those nights that I had that I was up and stuck and just thinking of these grandiose ideas, and I made these business ideas, right? That mania that gave me this business, right?
Yeah.
And it in 2023, I made a status. I went a hiatus. I closed all my businesses down. And everybody was kind of shocked, right? I was burnt out. And it was related to, number one, me feeling burnt out. But number two, I had all of these successes. I had all these great things. And as I said it to my friends, when he ripped out that scroll, none of that matters. You having a 6-figure business, Natalie, that don't matter. Your MBA doesn't matter. You being an adjunct professor doesn't matter. All of that doesn't matter. All these 50,000 followers on this platform. None of this matters. What did you do with the people that I gave you from the experience and the testimony that I created and put in for you? Right? I gave you those people. How many souls did you save? Right? And so I shifted my whole content. And because, as you mentioned, the traditional way of doing stuff, it got to be mixed in. So I can't come to you all how, if I come how I am as a professor, or as who else, or at my 9 to 5, I won't hit you.
Absolutely.
That ain't me. That's not what I went through. Right? People don't learn from others. I mean, I can go read a book, okay? I can go Google, I can go do whatever I needed to do.
Especially
but
today.
But if I know that I went through this and I've experienced this, God, I know you have this. I know you having me go through this for a specific reason. So it's and goes back to the question again is, okay, what do we do on those Mondays? Right. And so for me, it's the consistent praise and the honor and the glory of him, because you ain't gonna shut up.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna shut up.
That part.
You're gonna be talking, you're gonna be glowing.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna be feel so much that it don't even matter. I don't even gotta mention it. We can be talking about the dang on Coca-Cola sitting right next to you, right? But it's the fact that I'm so grateful that I got a sip of drink or whatever.
That
Okay.
part,
Right? Like it's those kind of things. And so, as you mentioned, mixing that in between, right?
Yeah.
I may not, and sometimes I'm a little shy. Now, y'all catching me because it's my girl, so it don't matter. But I sometimes have social anxiety related to my mental health, right? So I will wear things that will stop, right? And so many times I'm in the Walmart. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are they talking? And I'm like, oh yeah, I got my shirt right. I got the word, I got the gospel on me. So even if it's not, you're not even comfortable to do so, it's something that you don't even want to talk about, right? Maybe you lost somebody, right? Like I lost my child's father last year. So I'm in this mindset now where I'm able to be like, you know what, God, I know you put me through this, because if there's a mother who also is lacking a father for their child, there's someone who is lacking that, and that I'm the one who's going to be able to touch her, right? So I look at my struggles, I look at my testimonies differently than, like you said, the traditional way, and I share them non-traditionally because we can't reach his people that way. It's so fluffed. It's so much information out here. It's so much falsehood out here. It's so much theatrics in the church out here now where is the real, and where do they find that?
And that's why I love just platforms like this. So if you're enjoying this conversation, please make sure that you're sharing it. It's going a couple of different ways. I'm actually excited. I did see somebody comment who came forth and said that they too have had struggles with suicide.
Mhm.
And the fact that you're even able to type it in, the fact that you're even
Right.
able to have that conversation means that suicide did not win. And we don't have enough of that conversation in the church. We think
Yeah.
because we say sanctified, filled with the nosy ghost and the Holy Ghost and the utterance and speaking in tongues and so forth and so that we don't have those struggles. And Beyond the Pew wants to make sure that we offer a space and an opportunity here alongside with WVTC, who's also doing so much as it relates to just the violence in Chicago and just mental health in general. It's important that we feed the seed. And when I say that, I mean on both ends. I am absolutely 100%. We say this, me and Bishop Quinn, all the time. We are Team Jesus and therapy. Because some people's testimony isn't that they don't need the medication. Some people need it. Some people's testimony isn't that just therapy works. Some people need Jesus. Like it's so many concoctions, I guess I can call it, that really works. So if this conversation is near and dear to you, we're coming up on Mental Health Awareness Month. So Natalie probably will be back.
Absolutely.
Because we're big on just having those conversations. And I'm super excited. Over the last couple of weeks, months, one of my prayers is that God was really just allowing me to go into the church to talk about mental health. So I'm a licensed social worker by trade. So just going into the church, and you be amazed by how many of I host a group on Tuesdays. Y'all know we talk about it every other Tuesday, The Well, how many senior saints are joining for mental health awareness to learn more about what's happening and how they can better themselves. Because some of y'all are holding on to hurt that has died,
trauma,
been buried, and it's so far gone, but you've never dealt with it.
Girl, God had me write down this text. I'm gonna say it, okay, because you just hit it, girl. And it's so funny because I sent it.
Okay,
it says, God says, I give me that struggle. Take your hands off of it, and you're still gripping it and trying to take control. Let it go.
Say it again.
I don't know why. Mind you, this was at 6:30 a.m.
Say it again.
So I was like,
the people.
Why is he telling me this? Oh, okay. Now I see why.
Now you see why.
Right. I'm going to re-say it. God said, give me that struggle. Take your hands off of it. But you're still gripping it and trying to take control. Let it go.
And that's why I love opportunities like this. Because opportunities like this allow the church to hear what you had to say. And when you wrote it, you just like, oh, okay, boom, 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 boom. So, the church always comes in. They support. They hear. They in the building. They'll watch it later, whatever happens. They don't do that. But the unchurch is like, wait a minute, go back. What she mean by that? And that's when we start getting the DMs. And that's when we start getting can you explain this? And I just want somebody who is watching to understand that we are not sitting here as perfect individuals by far.
I am not a Bible scholar.
Oh, absolutely not.
I can't tell you what nothing is.
I've been given the grace to have platforms like this, the opportunity to go beyond the pew so that we can tell the dying world, the unchurched, what it's like to be on this side. What it's like to be able to be like, I really don't know what God wants me to do, but I trust he'll do something. I really don't know what's next for me, but I know he'll never leave me. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I'm going through you. I mean, you hit a lot of things. That's why we'll definitely have you, back so we can talk more mental health. But you talked about grieving. Losing somebody. You talked about mental health and having diagnosis and having jobs. I think one of the things you said that was very powerful, if y'all missed it, how God showed you the scroll,
girl,
of everything you did, and He said, "But what did
you do for me? How are you?" Because
some of y'all, let me hurt y'all real quick, church people. You got a list. You the pastor. You the bishop. You the apostle.
Titles don't mean nothing.
Got all of this, and God is like, but what did that do for my kingdom? So it gives you, and that's why I like being part of the church, because it gives you a check. A reality check. Because now it's like, did I do that to glorify me?
Or him? Absolutely.
Or did I do that because I wanted glorification to go to him?
Absolutely.
And it's not you should, but it's let me refocus myself.
And like you said, it's not a disregard to anyone with any title within their church, right? But it's also, why are you doing it in the first place, right? If the goal is to show Sister Susie that you a minister over the women's ministry, that's not it, right? If the
Yeah.
goal is to say, you know what, I have so much that I have went through as a woman of God,
Yeah.
I know I can be a lead disciple in this area,
Absolutely.
and I can help the women that need it. I can cultivate and create events that are needed. I can speak to them, right? And so that's what Jazzy is ultimately mentioning. So I
Absolutely.
thoroughly agree to that. Like I mentioned too as well. Like I want my crowns, okay?
Mhm.
I want my crowns. I don't want mine. Some of y'all might be raggedy, as my bishop say. Okay, you got one, but a little raggedy. Okay, bring some souls. Do kingdom work, right? I think
Yes.
people take what Jesus said in his last hours to his disciples as go and build disciples. Y'all take that, and
Yes.
as my first lady Vivian Jacobs said as well, y'all took this as an option. That ain't
No.
optional.
That was directed.
That was a command.
yeah. Directed.
Okay, so
No.
if we know and we experience this every Sunday when we get fulfilled, we get hype, we get the
Mhm.
word, we
Yeah.
leave church, right? But what do we do after that? We just let that energy just flow out and be done with it.
Yeah.
What do we do after that, right?
That's
and
great.
no,
I
yeah.
literally just preached this.
Mm,
So 2 weeks ago. When was Easter? 2 weeks after the Sunday after Easter, I actually preached it.
okay.
Because as church people, we're churched. We're churched.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I ain't church. I love a good bump. I love a good bounce. I love a go ahead, pastor. You
I'm a
walking
tambourine
heavy.
girl. I
You know
gotta
what
hit a
I'm saying?
tambourine. I got
I'm
to.
Some of all that.
Yeah.
Love a good choir. I love praise team. But when the choir go crazy, I
Yeah.
love me a good
Yeah.
choir, right?
Yeah.
And we did all of that shouting. You know, I wasn't part of the 7 last words. I wasn't the last word. So I was telling people I couldn't crucify them or get them up because that's out of order.
Mm.
Right. So I have to maintain, right? You got to stay in order. So I can only talk about certain things. But
Yeah.
on Easter, I was able, you know, he
Yeah.
got up, he went up, he got down. Like I was able to
Right.
work the words.
Right.
But then I thought about it. As church people,
Because
Easter,
y'all love we
Easter
love
is
that.
like our prom.
We
You
love
know,
that.
We be ready for
we
Easter.
love the hype, but we don't want the work.
But what happened?
Yeah.
And I literally preached the text you're talking about from
Yeah.
Matthew. What happened once he came back? Because the shout is
He
over.
rose, now what?
And that was literally, I'm telling you, I'm going to send you the
We
link.
got some bars, y'all.
That was literally the
Yeah.
sermon. Now
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Because for the unchurched, that's not going to sustain them.
Yeah.
They don't care about the crucifixion yet.
Yeah.
The crucifixion means a lot to those who are churched. I want to get to a point, and I'm not even there yet. If you get a real good mother and she say Jesus 4 times, you might as well move away, because she gonna tear it up. You know, she going hands down if you say it too many times. It does something for the church, but for the unchurched,
it don't.
not yet.
Yeah.
So now what?
Yeah.
And that's the directives, the command. Go.
Yes.
That's simple. What you doing? Going.
Mm-hmm.
Where you going?
Mhm.
Into the world. And honestly, what I think disturbs so many people, you don't have to do nothing but be who God told you to be.
Right.
You ain't got to preach it. You ain't got to yell
Or
it.
allow him
you ain't
to
gotta
use
build
you.
it. Just
Yeah.
go to work and smile.
Because
for
that might be
once.
the hard part, right? As a teacher, as a professor, I'm very analytical. So I'm like, you can't give someone an instruction
Mhm.
without the steps.
Okay.
Right. And so as we know, there are so many theologians, there are Bible scholars who try
Absolutely.
to break this down for us. But as we go and transform into, I don't say that, but continue to move forward as different generations,
Yeah.
my grandma still ain't teach me this. And sometimes the church ain't teaching thorough detail
Yeah.
what that means, right? So when we say go, some people still be like, okay, I'm outside. I don't know what to do.
Right.
Right. And so this is why for me it's important to build that intimacy with
Mhm.
God and allow him. I say this prayer every single day, or before I walk through a door and I know I gotta perform
Yeah.
and I gotta do something. God, take my entire tongue and use it.
And use
Take
it.
my footsteps and walk me where you need me to
Yeah.
go, because I have no clue, right? I am a vessel. This body does not belong to me.
Yeah.
This body belongs to you. And if the work that you want me to do, you know good and well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Please take over me,
Yeah.
consume me, and
Yeah.
put in my mouth what you want me to say. Because I can say it. That ain't the problem. I just know what to say. So just go ahead and work it for me, because I know you got power and control, God. Amen. So that helps me so much
Mhm.
in allowing his will over where you know what? Because I don't want to be a Jonah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a Jonah. I don't want to keep avoiding where I'm supposed to go, because now I'm comfortable over here in Inglewood.
Yeah.
No, I need you to go over here.
Yeah.
No, that girl from high school over there. I ain't finna go over to Roseland.
Yeah.
Go over there.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not trying to get swallowed up by no whale. I'm trying to follow and do his will so I can make sure that at the end of the day, like I said, when that scroll roll out, baby, he can say, you know what? Good, you did well.
We all want to hit job well done.
Girl.
You know, and not from each other. But my goal is to make it, and he say, you know what? I gave you this.
Yeah, absolutely.
You did exactly what I intended you to do to the best of your ability.
Right.
And because of your sacrifice, you're being able to show stewardship and do the best you could with what you had. Right. That's what I'm pleased with.
I think also a good point, right? And what we do on Monday, remember, we work here. We live there.
Y'all
got it. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't. We work here. We are disciples.
This is not our home.
We are supposed to go and work and go and do. Right? I owe you my life. You paid for me. I owe you my life.
For that one, because I'm gonna
my life.
Eat that one.
My life.
I'm gonna have to eat that.
Right. I'm gonna take it to you.
I'm gonna have to eat that one.
But we work here. We supposed to do work here. His work here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we can live there.
Yeah.
And so the mentality changes on what we supposed to do because
even for me that was a mental shift.
Right.
And exactly. I'm not saying I live perfect, but my daily desire looks a little different than the average person, right? I understand that I'm a church person trying to reach the unchurched, right? So my days look different, but you saying it that way to me just shifted me. Yeah. So if you missed that, go back and run that one back.
Latrice said Latrice got it. Okay.
Run that one back. Okay. One thing I do want to do, because we're coming down to our hour, and I want to make sure that we do a couple things.
Yeah.
Well, first,
because we can talk about God all day, honey.
We'll be literally. Tell us a little bit about Dear God. I see you brought something for us.
I did.
What that is and how they can connect again to make sure that.
Absolutely. Dear God is a testimony book and journal and prayer journal. This is a conversation that me and God had. I have, like I said, over 50,000 followers, and I didn't want to make no move without him instructing it. And God, how do I bring this to people, right? As you know, I can talk, right? I can work a room, whatever, right? I can do all of those things, right? God has strengthened me in that manner, and I've allowed him to use me to where I'm getting better at that. And one thing that I truly noticed and have always held on to was prayer. And prayer has helped me through so much, right? I think people don't even understand how important it is to know that, as they joke about it, my granny or my granny prayed and got me through. No, seriously. Coverage is so important on your life. And so for me, Dear God, number one is a brand that me and God are building together, with him at the forefront. And the two current resources I have right now is Dear God, Help Me to Pray. And this book is available on Amazon. And in Dear God, it walks you through me starting. So y'all probably gonna be like, girl, what? After I say this, I grew up in a Muslim household. So prayer was extremely important in the house, but it also allowed me, as I obviously converted to Christianity, to truly understand how prayer is almost a direct conversation with God. It's almost it is a direct praise. There are instructions to pray, or a prayer that we can pray, what Jesus gave his disciples when he taught him how to pray. And so I think we don't put enough emphasis on prayer and what prayer can cover and what prayer can do. And that starts more intimacy with God. And for me, in my thought pattern and in my ideology, prayer started there. Right. And a prayer can be a cry. A prayer can be a yell. A prayer can be silent. But what I want to work on, and what the Dear God podcast is also about, is eliminating that anxiety to perform in front of God when you just want his intimacy and his connection. He is our Father. When we look at, I am no shade to my daddy, but I didn't really have a good father figure, right? And so when I look at my heavenly Father and what he have done when I did not even respect you, when I didn't honor you, when I was praising a God that was not of you, you still did for me.
Yep.
Right? And so when I finally sat down, had that cry, had that pour out, it was no like, oh God, it was none of that, right? It was not rehearsed. It was a real conversation I wanted with my father, with my parents, with somebody I know, despite however I am. And it looks different because I'm a mom.
Yeah.
So regardless of what my son do, and I tell him this all the time, I don't care what you do, I'm gonna love you regardless. I'm gonna support you regardless. I'm gonna be a helicopter parent regardless, because I said motherhood is a stewardship. Motherhood is something divinely given. And so for me, I want people to understand that yes, you have fallen, or we were born into this world. Okay, for those who want to bring it back to Old Testament, okay, we fallen, we born into sin. Okay, so I want them to understand, no matter how messed up you are, he is still waiting at that table for you to come sit down and just pour it out to him. And he ain't gonna tell you about time you got over it. He's not even. None of that. Is always a welcoming hug, and anything that you're searching for, you can find within him. So, dear God is restructuring that relationship with God for people who struggle mentally with coming to God because they feel they've gone too far, and can't even hear him, don't even know how to hear him. And so these are prayer resources on how you can structure your prayer. And I use the pray method, which is praise, repent, accept, or ask, and then also yield. And so that helped me understand. It's like I said, I mentioned I came from one religion to another, and so prayer was structured completely different, and seen as you can't come to him unless you're clean. This, which is very similar to the Old Testament, right? Where these covenants was built. You ain't circumcised, you ain't coming up in, you ain't doing none of that. And so again, what is freeing is that he came to fulfill that law, and he also came to save me from all of that, in which I can't enter the house unless
New Testament.
Woo, Lord. Right, I'm glad I'm born in this era. We'll just say that, because I know I would have been sacrificed for a lamb
multiple times.
So, baby, I already knew.
They definitely would.
Okay.
So, guys, I really want to just thank you all for just joining in today. If you are just joining in, please go back and share, and rewatch it. It was some good gems. Make sure that you follow Natalie on. She's on all platforms. We'll make sure to go back and drop those in the comments. And you can get the book on Amazon. We all can use support as we go forth in just different manners, learning how to restructure our prayer. As y'all know, we're here every Saturday, though. Every Saturday at 3 p.m. Real quick, we got about 3 minutes, right? We want to give the people, in your perception, given the topic, maintaining the church and bringing in the unchurched. How do we do that here on Beyond the Pew? Or how can they do that this week as they go beyond the pew?
Oh, this for Natalie?
This for Natalie.
I would say, well, you can start by, again, I wouldn't do anything without God aligning me first, asking him to direct your week, asking him to place you in the rooms in which you need to be, with the words in which you need to say them, because you might not have the strength. You might not have the understanding. You might not even know how to tell your testimony because it's still bothering you and you're still boggled down in depression or grief or whatever, right? But God strengthens. He is also with the weary and the brokenhearted. So if you are struggling to even tell your testimony or to even figure out how to go there, as is mentioned over 100 times in the Bible, do not fear. God will direct you. He will steer you in those lanes. So I would first start, not even no shameless plug, but I legit would start with a prayer. So God can understand that you're yielding to him to do his work. And you understand that it is not your way and how you want to go talk to these people. It is his way, because these are his people. So that's what I would do. Also, for those who also are a little bit less social, wearing things just as a reminder, right? You don't have to share your testimony, you don't have to talk to the people, preach to the people, nothing, right? But you can share his gospel, share his words through clothing. And I bought this off Amazon, so those are other ways in which that you can do that. And I would say the last, which you already have it within you and already, is the Holy Spirit to ignite you, to make sure you have that fruit of a spirit and showing that fruit of the spirit. So those are ways that I would say.
Those are perfect things. I'm just so excited. Our connection happened, I believe, honestly, it was God. We got connected through a mutual friend, but ever since, just the connection has been genuinely authentic and just easy. Like I've known you all my life, right? And this is probably our second or third encounter.
Second.
Encounter.
Yeah.
So I'm just really excited for the things that God is doing in your life and the opportunity to connect with you. Y'all know we are here every Saturday at 3 p.m. on Beyond the Pew, where we have real life, real talk, and real faith. We are just really trying to get the word out, and the easiest way to do it is Beyond the Pew. So make sure you're following us on Facebook, Beyond the Pew. Also, make sure you're following WVTC. There is a show going on multiple times throughout the week where you can definitely tune in to your favorite podcaster, your favorite radio show host, to have different conversations that get your brain moving, get your heart moving, and get your soul saved. Thank y'all for tuning in. We will catch y'all next week here on WVTC with Beyond the Pew, where the host is Bishop Q and Jazzy Mack. And we're just excited again for our guest. Go follow her, go support her, find her on Amazon, Facebook, TikTok, all of those fun things. And remember, as you go through your week this week, remember that regardless of what it is you're going through, regardless of what your situation is, regardless of what the circumstance is, God is still sitting at the table. And he's waiting with open arms for you to come with no judgment. Y'all have yourself a good Saturday, and I will see you guys next week. Peace out.
Views made on the preceding program are not those of WVTC Radio, iNetworks Communications, or their financial supporters.
Winning victory through Christ. WVTC Allsip Chicago. An iNetworks communication station.